That was
Ooh.
great warning. It is Tuesday night, another episode of Goal Horns and Fight Songs, and we made it, boys. We're the last weekend of the season. We have Brent joining us again this week, from Omaha, pretty much solidified in third place, but
Uh,
yeah,
I got a chance.
I said
Wait.
pretty much, but yeah, we're on the last weekend of the season coming up, and then playoffs start. So exciting time of year.
Should be
So
fun.
you're saying there's a chance.
I was looking. There's a few different matchups that could happen because I was looking at the standings today, uh, when maybe should have been working, but I was thinking about this podcast, and uh, you guys have a chance to surpass Arizona State because they do not play, and we have a chance for UMD to surpass Colorado College if they get swept. So a lot of interesting situations that are happening, and uh, it all kind of comes down to the matchups. And Wes is just sitting there with his title belt around his waist,
It's over
staring
my
at
shoulder,
himself
thank
in
you.
the mirror.
It was over my shoulder. There's a really nice shot during the national anthem, like right at the end of it, of them just like right at me.
God, I hate you.
I fucking love me. I don't know what the problem is here. I think Colorado College is kind of locked in at 6th. You can tie them points wise, but I think they hold the tiebreaker with Reg wins. Because you'd only be at 10.
No,
Or no.
that could be.
Actually, you know what? No, because they have 4 overtime wins, so they're at 7. You're currently at 8. You would actually, you would jump them.
Yeah.
Because you'd be at 10. No, you'd be at 8 Reg wins. You're at 6 right now. If you sweep St. Cloud in regulation like you did earlier this year without Posh, but they have Posh back, so.
But it's still a very good possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said just 2 minutes ago.
You do have the tiebreaker.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah. No, you would hold the tiebreaker over them if you got 2 more wins and picked up all 6 points. Because I was trying to figure it out earlier and I had it backwards in my head that you guys wouldn't have the point or the win total, but no, you guys would definitely have the reg win total.
Yeah.
So Western goes undefeated in regulation at home this year to capture their first conference title in 50 plus years of Division I hockey. They're the 4th NCHC team to capture the Penrose and did it with a couple games to spare. So,
Indeed, and now you've got the biggest battle yet.
Honestly, you know what? I mean, it's not wrong though, and not for the what we see potentially on the ice. But one, Miami has been playing pretty tough. But for me, this is a mental battle that I think Western actually needs right now. There are 2 games that Miami has nothing to lose, everything to gain. Western has nothing to gain from these. They've done what they've captured the Penrose. They're still working towards potentially trying to get a number 1 seed in the national tournament. Really, I think it's going to come down to them doing well in the postseason, but every win counts and matters. But it's not a chance to relax, really. I mean, like I said, it's the mental game. Like, you can't play down to a bad opponent or a struggling team. You can't play down to a rival because Miami's going to try and bring everything. It's a rivalry team. It's a team that wants to show that they're improving, and a new coach who wants to show that it's not the same old thing that they've seen. So there's still a lot on the line for these games, and I hope that Western realizes it and takes it seriously. And I know that the coaching staff does, but sometimes I think some of those things get maybe a little misconstrued by the team, as we've seen in the past. So,
and I think Miami has a little bit of confidence coming off of last weekend with what they did with my Bulldogs. They played them tight. They lost in a shootout on Saturday. they're right there, and so they want to keep that confidence going into next season because obviously they have been eliminated since they started the season from the playoffs. But you have to build from somewhere. And with them gaining that confidence, they can push it a little further. What better way than to take down the Penrose champion in Western Michigan and not knock those guys down a peg in the conference playoffs, uh, or well, before the conference playoffs, I guess. Uh, I think that would be a huge boost to the program, and yeah, they're not going to care. They're just going to play with reckless abandon and say, "Hey, we're going to do this. We can build for next year and make sure that we're not sitting here 40 million points in the cellar."
Yeah. It's like a good, I mean not good. It's basically like what we would get if they were still 8 teams. Like it would just be next weekend's postseason matchup, but it's
Yeah.
this weekend to end the regular season. First versus last.
Yeah, I'm excited for the postseason when St. Thomas joins to have another even number of teams. And then I'm assuming they're gonna do kind of a play in because that would give an odd number going into the semis.
I think they mentioned. I don't know if it's play-in or if it's a bye.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't
It's been
remember.
it's been changed so much I can't even remember. But
it, either way, it kind of is the same. Maybe 1 and 2 get a bye, but it kind of the same thing as a play in
right,
where they get the bye and then they have to play that series. But I I really want Miami. No offense, Wes, but I really want Miami to build momentum and get something going here, going into next year because St. Thomas, they're gonna come in hot, kind of like ASU did. And if Miami can put something together and at least be competitive, then that makes it more fun for everyone else.
I think St. Thomas is 2026.
yeah, we still got one more
Yeah,
season.
Oh, still one more season. Okay.
yeah. Next year it just changes to everything's home site. We're just done with St. Paul after
Yeah,
this year.
Okay.
But it's 2 years of 9. Then we go to 10. So because I think it coincides with when St. Thomas earns NCAA eligibility, and they're still not eligible this year.
yeah,
Um,
And honestly, I mean, I'm happy they're joining, but joining or being eligible for the tournament and what the CCHA is and how they're performing might not be the best decision for them for an automatic bid because really they only have to compete with Mankato.
yeah.
Uh, it,
And
and I guess Michigan Tech in a sense in Bemidji, but it's pretty much 4 teams and they have I would say a better chance at an automatic bid in the CCHA than they do in the NCHC.
where is it?
I don't know what you're looking for, so I can't help you.
The first matchup between North Dakota and Omaha. I looked at it earlier and I can't remember if they split. I think they did though.
Think so? Question mark.
I don't know. Our Omaha representative has disappeared. Probably the weather there.
I think it's the fact that he's trying to be I Am Legend and Will Smith with everyone that's infected in his house with
Could be that
whatever.
too. There's a lot going on.
Whatever afflictions they have.
We were dealing with some of that last week. I know they freaking played. Oh, maybe they played earlier this half of the season. So they should have played twice. Oh no, they only played once. Oh, that's right, because this was the first year of the little pods. That's right. So they only played North Dakota once, and it's this weekend.
But yeah, because they kept the rivalries.
They kept the last weekend rivalry games.
Yeah, quote unquote rivalries.
Yeah.
Which theirs is really the only one that isn't a rivalry. It was just kind of a forced
Yeah, they were the force
rivalry.
both of the
Because you got Denver,
remainders.
yeah, because you got Denver CC, that makes sense. St. Cloud, UMD, that kind of makes sense. Even though that was a little forced, it was still, we're close enough in proximity, and we have that. You and Miami from the old CCHA days,
I mean, they
they
should have
were just
really.
like,
I think they should have kept, or they should have done North Dakota, UMD, St. Cloud, and Omaha. I think those would have been a little closer rivalry wise.
I think so, but you could have made the argument to understand the proximity thing, but you could have made the argument St. Cloud, North Dakota. But I think
I would say that
UMD,
UMD North Dakota is a bigger rivalry than St. Cloud,
yeah,
North Dakota.
yeah, oh yeah, it is. Uh, just because St. Cloud is such a small, it's a niche fan base, niche, whatever you want to call it. It's very regionalized to there because you have the Gophers an hour down the road. You got UMD 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours. You got Bemidji State. They're kind of centralized in theirs. But UMD, our fan base reaches to wherever Bemidji's stands out in. But I know a lot of North Dakota fans and a lot of people that went to North Dakota. So I think that would have been more heated, but I'll take St. Cloud. Makes it closer for me.
Yeah, I think if everybody splits, like if we just assume, based on kind of how the season has gone this year, Western should sweep Miami. But if all the other matchups are splits, which honestly could happen, and the standings stay as they are, I'm really not mad about that 4 or 5 spot. But whoever comes out of there is going to be a real danger to take the tournament, kind of like when it was St. Cloud versus UMD, those 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, that 4 or 5 is going to be a problem.
Like it's nice to get one of those teams out of the way, considering they're both kind of playing better right now. But either one who comes out of there is not going to be an easy go in the semis.
No, not at all.
And I mean, there's still a chance that both of them make it, and they're both home teams. But because the farthest Omaha can fall is 5.
Yeah, it's
And then it gets
they
real
can
funky if
do
you
it.
start trying to figure out who sweeps who and who wins and loses, and there's still a lot of mismatching around to go.
Yeah, but as it sits, that
Okay.
4 or 5, whoever comes out is going to be a problem. And even now that he's back, that 3-6 as it sits with Omaha and CC,
Honestly,
that can be a problem too.
that would be a fun series to watch.
Yeah.
I think both of them, like both Omaha and Colorado College, feel very similar It's just Colorado College might have had a little bit more bad luck on the second half of the season, where Omaha kind of kept all of their bad luck to the first half and really rebounded well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Yeah,
both of those teams seem to be struggling on their defensive end, where defense was their strength the last couple years.
when they came to Omaha the one time we got to play them this year, like that was a much closer weekend than the sweep. Because like even when Omaha was or when CC was attacking on our side, the side that I sit on the student section side, like there were a bunch of shots that did not miss by much. Like it was, they were very clean and they just did not get the results they, maybe deserved or something in the second half. But they're a very good team that, like I said, it did not miss by much. The sweep by Omaha, looking back at it now, obviously, like um, Omaha might have been the better team, but it was very close. It was a lot closer than the sweep.
I mean, honestly, if everybody does what is expected, like at least what I expect this weekend could be, with Western sweeping Miami and everybody else kind of, splitting out, these matchups would be really hard to pick. Like they feel a lot more like coin flips than they either could or should based on like the standings right now. But St. Cloud's a much better team than they were a couple weeks ago. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota Duluth recently just beat Arizona State in a couple of hard fought games. They took one, I think. Yeah, they took one. Both went to overtime, and Minnesota Duluth took one.
Yep.
Omaha and Colorado College, they feel like super close teams and play a very similar style. Denver and North Dakota, they can both be high offense, low defense, high defensive teams, but also their goalies have struggled from time to time this year.
Yeah, and they just played too.
Yeah, and they just played and had each had a player suspended. So, yeah. I mean, I honestly wish that this week was the playoff week instead, and like this stuff was just locked in right now. Because honestly, every single one of those matchups would be fun to watch.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, you guys are, I mean, as well as you've played all year, you're not guaranteed to beat St. Cloud because of, I mean, Posh coming back. We all know he's a super good goalie, but they're playing well. Like, there's no guarantee. Arizona State playing us. Yeah, we kind of sucked against Miami, and Friday was the CBS game of the week. Uh, Entertaining series. We sucked against them, but we can beat anybody. We've proven that. Omaha CC, like you said, and then North Dakota Denver. They're who knows what's going to happen with those guys. So
Those two games were
like,
electric a couple weeks ago.
yeah, there's I think those have the most energy behind them. Just based off program history. That's the only reason they have the most energy behind them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish we could just have the playoffs right now.
And I mean, depending on how this weekend goes, it could be another one of those quick turnarounds for North Dakota and Omaha.
Oh, yeah.
Just go right back at it, and it feels like that St. Cloud Minnesota Duluth roll from a couple of seasons ago, where they played each other like 12 times in the span of a month after the COVID season or whatever it was. It was so dumb, but
I liked it. It was close by. Go
yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
now, do I remember one of the nights? Not really, but that's beside the point.
But and even if Omaha falls into that fifth spot, that's still that 4-5 matchup could produce a tournament potential tournament winner. Like I mean, neither one of those teams are easy to beat, and like Cozy is playing really really well. The only thing I think that gives me pause on Omaha is their defense has to play better. It absolutely has to. When you're going to be playing potentially the top teams in the conference, there are teams that can take advantage of a lackluster defense, and I think we saw that the last couple weeks of the regular season, and could see it again with North Dakota. So that's the only pause I really have on Omaha is they don't feel like the defensive team that they have been, and it's it's troublesome to know that one of their defensive strategies is just hope that Let Cozy gets to every puck he sees.
Yeah.
I think Brent, you and I talked about it when we played you the last game. You want to see that team that was getting in front of every shot because there should have been about 4 or 5 goals that UMD scored that your guys blocked, just wide open shots, and they just sold out. You need
Hmm.
to have them sell out for their team. But I think when it comes playoff time, that shows up a lot more, and the guys will do that a lot more. For whatever reason, they did it that series. I hate them for that. Uh, but they knew if we want to keep at least our spot, we can do this. So we have to sell out and block these shots. Playoff time, they're gonna do it. I've seen it done. I think they will.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah. I would like
at what level?
that was the those two games like against Duluth was like the first time this season that at least at home or I guess even um the couple tournaments we went to that I saw them like actually selling out and showing like we're here to win. Whereas other times where they're up by 1 or 2 goals, you don't see them do that as much. And that was when, like I said, this season that's when I really started first seeing it. Um, and it was really nice to see. Obviously, you want to see that in as much as possible, obviously, but um, after having the success in the start of the second half, and then um, even this weekend on Saturday, obviously getting the win, saw it a little bit more this weekend too, just selling out in front of Kevin and just showing like, yeah, we're trying to win. Like we know how big this this win would be and whatever. So it's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean Arizona State, they have shown a willingness to sell out too. Like that was evident during the Western series and probably during your series against them this last week. Um,
Yeah.
like those dudes find ways to get in front of pucks that I don't think they should. And I think during that Western season, they had like 40 blocks on the weekend or something stupid. Like they were just getting in front of anything and everything they could. Um,
Well, I
but
think
that,
it was either it must have been Friday because couldn't watch the game on Saturday in West
yeah.
or at Arizona State. But it was like after the first period, blocked shots were like 16-0
Oh yeah.
Arizona State,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's ridiculous. But like that just shows what their game plan is. And yeah, we saw it a ton this weekend. I mean, there was definitely 2 or 3 times that come to mind where a puck's going out of play because it was off a defender or whatever. Like they sell out.
I still don't know. Like, even though you're protected, I still don't understand that willingness, and that's how tough hockey players are, uh, to block shots for your team because
Dude, they
I've
are
been
not
hit by
that.
sticks and everything. Like, it doesn't feel good.
You watch those like behind the scenes or like the road when they used to do the road to the Winter Classic or whatever, or the video after Florida won the Stanley Cup championship, and you see the dudes like pads on the thing. And you're like, you block shots wearing those?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like
Excuse you?
you hear just the injuries that guys play through. Like, team gets eliminated.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he had a broken scapula. His tibia was split in two. Like, the hell?
Yeah,
No. I get a paper cut and I'm like, ow, no.
Mhm.
like it's just ridiculous. I think the interesting thing though will be to see how Arizona deals with the playoffs because I mean they're coming from if they're making the tournament, they're sitting out multiple weeks when they would go to the NCAA tournament. They don't have the 2, 3 extra weekends of playoff hockey or whatever. So for them, they're they're gonna have to get back up for that home series. I mean, I guess it being a home series might help, but they got a longer stretch than they normally have right now. So can they compete or can they extend that and play within their system and block all these shots and continue to be healthy and productive, or could they, get that almost that sweep, that first round bye, or that sweep mentality where you don't play as well in the next round of the playoffs because you had a little extra time to rest, and your body's like, as much as you like the rest, your body's like, shit, we got to do that again. Like we were enjoying the rest period. It's like when your feet are swollen, you don't want to take your shoes off because they're just gonna like not go back in your boots if you got to go back to work. So hopefully they don't run into that situation coming up.
Yeah, they need to make it to St. Paul.
Yeah,
I mean, sitting at 16 right now,
And
or
I
get
think
lots of help from this weekend.
I think the interesting question is how much different is it for each individual player than what they did back in high school or juniors or whatever. Um, because most players have played in juniors, but there are some kids that come from high school straight to the college rings, and even in juniors, you might have an all-star break, whatever. How do they respond to that? Uh, there's part of me that thinks we make too big of a deal, just us as fans, of that time off. But there's also part of me that's like, it can be a big deal where you have time to prepare.
I mean, yeah, and I think yes and no. I think most of us, if we're paying enough attention, we've seen enough teams take the bye, go on a run. But we've also seen a team that's hot, playing well, go into a bye week and just shit the bed on the other side. Whether it's baseball, football, hockey, like it doesn't really matter. Like I think just as many teams win the next series after a bye as lose it, and it might be a slightly higher percentage of teams that lost or sweep the next round, lose the next round or whatever. But it's definitely not without merit to realize that like your body still is trying to recover, and then to get back up for a game, and then to get back up to a team that just played a hard series again, teams that are looking to improve their position. This is essentially week 1 of the playoffs for a lot of these teams. And so they're running high. Now you have to not only just amp up for the next game, but now you have to turn it up another notch because it's now the playoffs. So I think the fans will bring enough energy in Mullet. It's just whether or not Arizona State is prepared for what's there, and can Powers get the most out of his players right off the rip.
Especially
been
Scott Salen has been in plenty of playoff hockey, and knows the ins and outs of how to turn it on for 2 or 3 games just to keep your season alive. Like,
yeah, I mean,
should be interesting.
None of the coaches that he could face in the first round are going to be easy coaches. You have Larson, who was an assistant the last 2 World Junior gold medal teams, and has won a Penrose. He might have gotten there after St. Cloud won their Penroses with Motzko.
And I think also might have been an assistant.
But I think he was at least an assistant with Duluth for their runs.
One of the national championship.
You have Scott Sandlin, who won back-to-back national championships, who has won the Frozen Face-Off before from a lower seeded team position. You have Mike Mayotte, who can take a team into a higher seeded spot and unfortunately cause mayhem, and go on a little bit of a run. I mean, 2 years ago when they knocked off the top 2 seeds in the tournament, and faced St. Cloud in the finals of the Frozen Face-Off, like that's not an easy task. So none of the coaching staffs are going to be prepared. The players know what they're asked to do. It's not going to be an easy go for really any of the home seeds, and especially one that hasn't played playoff hockey outside of an NCAA tournament, which I think they made technically twice, but the one year it was the COVID year, so it didn't matter anyway. Like they were eligible for the tournament, but they didn't. There was no tournament. So, but I
Yeah,
mean, a coach that does have what D3 national championships, so it's not like he hasn't won at whatever level he's coaching.
Yeah,
I
and some transfers who have at least played in
Yeah.
that type of atmosphere, but still.
yeah, I just think it's that extra week, and Wes, you brought up a good point that your body's finally recovering. Um, Here in Minnesota, we have basically a week between the section championship and the start of the state tournament. You still know you're playing. It's more on the players mentally. And I think a lot of these guys, they're used to some breaks and they can get themselves up to it. Um, and it's different than college versus pros. Pros, they're getting paid for whatever. And you see that. So they're kind of like, we're gonna go screw off for a little bit. College, they're yeah, they're getting paid now, but there's more of an incentive, I think, for them to be prepared for their teammates versus, well, I'm just playing for this team because they're paying me money. So it's gonna be interesting to see uh what Arizona State's able to do.
And also, I mean, we've
It,
never had a team go into the first round of a playoff not playing the weekend before.
yeah,
Is that an advantage
True.
for them? Is that a disadvantage for them? It's just interesting that the spot that they're in is all I'm really, I think there's advantages and disadvantages to where they're at right now.
yeah,
But it
there
being their
definitely
first
is.
playoffs and it being NCHC playoffs, like we know the two most offensive teams in the country can go walk into the NCHC playoffs and barely score a goal a game. Like, everything's
Yeah,
going to tighten up in those series. So the fact that they block shots the way they do might be a big advantage. Them having a chance to heal their body could be a big advantage, and them willing to take a few more pucks than they had if they'd played the weekend before. Uh, but again, maybe the teams like if St. Cloud goes in and wins against Minnesota Duluth and takes that the 6 spot or the 7
Seven
seed
spot.
from
yeah.
Duluth, now they're riding a little bit of a wave. Can they go down to Arizona, avoid the travel flu, and take a run? I mean, they've won it from a disadvantaged seed as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And especially too, like you said, they're not playing, and when UMD won it from the fifth seed, they played St. Cloud. They ended up getting the fifth seed, and they played St. Cloud again the next week.
Mm-hmm.
There are teams that have played each other back to back weekends, so you kind of understand what they're doing. Arizona State doesn't have that.
No.
They
Mm-hmm.
and they're just like, okay, try to remember what we did. Uh, it, it'll be fun to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I was watching the ASU press conference from today about last weekend, and then how they're treating the off weekend, and they were saying, the players were saying that they were excited because they get to watch the two teams that are probably coming play
Yeah.
each other this weekend. So it'll be nice to kind of see how they play each other, and then kind of have a little bit of a pre-scout while watching, because like they were saying too, it's different watching uh like old tape, whereas if you're watching them live, the week before you're playing, and you're not having to just watch what you're given, it's a lot different than that. So they're pretty excited, which I mean, I would be too, but still, you still have to go out there and beat whoever you're given.
Yeah, well, I guess it would be early enough for them that they can still go to parties after. So they're probably gonna forget what they watched, but that's at least what we hope.
Yeah.
They forget what they watch because they're like, well, Arizona State, they're known for having very good looking women. So we're just gonna go over here.
All right. Let's play a little Madden curse. Is there a Penrose Cup curse? So the only team to win both the Penrose Cup and the Frozen Face-Off was North Dakota, and it doesn't really count because it was the pod season, and they hosted the entire playoffs, which was a round robin playoff. I think it was a one game all the way through. There was no opening series. It was one and dones through 3 rounds or whatever it ended up being. I don't remember, but they're the only team to do it. St. Cloud State is, in fact, the only team to make the Frozen Face-Off finals as a Penrose winner, losing once to Minnesota Duluth and once to Denver. Both of those. Most Penrose Cup winners, unfortunately, actually fall in the semifinals.
A la last year.
Yeah. So, it's nice to have that home ice, and most of them do make it to the Penrose. I think the only one to win the Penrose and not make St. Paul was the inaugural St. Cloud team, who I believe lost to Miami.
Yes, I believe so. Let me look. I've got it pulled up.
It would have been, maybe Miami.
Yeah, because Miami was actually.
Yeah, they were the inaugural Frozen Face-Off champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami beat St. Cloud in the first round.
And then I think St. Cloud won it the second year.
They swept them.
Yeah.
And then Miami went on to lose to Denver in the championship.
Okay. So I think Miami won it the second year then. So I know they have a Frozen Face-Off championship in the first couple years of when Miami was good.
Yeah, because I think it was
back in my day.
Yeah.
That was the championship game that I think it was like Sean Crowley or something. He got thrown out, and then there was a big deal because he came back on the ice for the celebration afterwards.
So, but yeah, I mean, they had the Madden curse that seems to have been broken, but this one seems to be going strong. Now, that's not to say that Western can't do well in either this tournament or the NCAA tournament, because a number of teams who have won the Penrose have gone on to win the national tournament. So
I think the question moving forward is, will that change with the tournament moving to the home sites?
That could be too.
I think, and that would be an argument against it moving to the home sites, is yes, technically this is a neutral site. Technically, we have a little home ice advantage from St. Cloud and UMD, even North Dakota. But these teams that win the Penrose, they know their home rink. They're going to be the home team throughout. I think it will change with it moving to the home site, because if Western was to, if they had the new format, if Western, you win the Penrose, the Lunatics throughout the playoffs, having that, I think that's a huge difference. Now that may change with your new arena, but Omaha, you guys have, whatever you call your fans. I think we have the dog pound in Duluth. I don't know. I never really remembered.
You're a dog-based mascot team. You have the dog pound.
Yeah, exactly. Even though the fan base the student section kind of sucks, we have that. How much of a difference is that going to make moving forward and breaking that curse that has been involved with the neutral site games, where nobody really knows the arena because we don't play there, St. Cloud doesn't play there, North Dakota doesn't play there. It's just kind of team on team.
And in fact, it's so bad that in 2022, when the thing was shared between Denver and North Dakota, neither one of them advanced to the finals. They both lost in the semis.
Because
Yeah.
that was the one we beat you.
2022 was the year that it was Colorado College and St. Cloud.
Okay, so it was the year 2021. I was trying to remember how long we've been doing this.
Yeah. That was the year that Colorado College came to Western, beat Denver in the semis, and St. Cloud beat North Dakota in the semis.
That's right.
Yeah, because I was like, when did I meet Ethan's dad in the beer line?
I'm 95% sure. Let me double check it though.
No, yeah, that
It'll
would make sense.
take 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't worry. But
Having been to all of them, they all
last year was
start
Denver. The year before it was. Oh wait, no, hang on. No, that was the year that you beat Western.
2022 was?
Yeah. Western beat North Dakota. And you beat Denver.
Yeah, we beat Denver and then we beat you with uh Shep playing absolutely out of his mind.
Yeah. No, Fanti.
Was it Fanti?
Oh wait, no, 2021 was Fanti. Wait, no, it would have. Yeah, 2022 was Fanti.
Yeah, it would have been Fanti.
God damn it!
Yeah,
Stop confusing
that's
me.
my bad. We've had so many good goalies, I can't keep them straight.
Yeah. Now, technically. See, it gets confusing when you talk about like seasons and last years. That's why I keep getting the two confused.
Yeah, yep. No, I get you on
last
that
season, Denver won it. The season before is the St. Cloud year. But that was technically, like in my head, that was.
No, I get why you're confused. I confuse myself doing that too.
Yeah. Ugh. Start of year, end of year is confusing as shit. But no, that was. I mean, even still, Denver did not make it out of the semis the year St. Cloud won it either, because they lost to Colorado College.
Yeah, Denver seems to struggle in the tournament. I know I've been to
I think
one that they made the finals, but other than that, the ones that I've gone to, they have not.
I think technically Miami has the highest winning percentage of Frozen Face-Off Finals appearances at 50%.
I know
Double
for
check though.
sure we're 2-1 for sure. I don't know if we've had other ones because we beat St. Cloud one year and we beat you one year and we lost to St. Cloud one year.
UND is 2-2. Oh, wait, no, that's third place games. Hang on. North Dakota is 1-1, so they're 50%. Colorado College is 0-1. Denver is 3-0. Yeah, okay, no, Denver has the best winning percentage because they're 3-0.
What?
100%. Miami is 1-1. St. Cloud is 2-4. Wait, why did I not finish that? No, I did. Never mind. They lost to Denver last year. No. What? Yes, they did. Just on the finals.
Don't hurt yourself.
UMD is 3-1.
Okay, 3-1.
Yeah,
I knew you were 2-1 for sure.
You lost
it was St.
year to
Cloud.
St. Cloud, and then you beat. I mean, not the first year, but your first appearance, you lost to St. Cloud. The next year, you beat North Dakota, beat St. Cloud, and then beat Western.
Yep, because I was at both St. Cloud games and I was at the Western game, so I knew I thought I was missing one in there, but I knew we were 2-1 at least. So
Omaha is 0-1, and Western is 0-1.
Heh, suck
Also
it,
0-2 in
nerds.
third place games.
Nerds.
You're 0-1 in third place games.
Third place doesn't count.
They don't even do
At
it
least
anymore.
we've won.
Whatever. You're not Denver. Okay.
Hey, we still won. We've won as much as they have.
Nope. Well, yep. You have. You lost one too. Percentage. All right.
Technically,
Percentage-based.
we've been there more than they have.
You have.
We just haven't won as many national championships as they have.
But do you have a Penrose? You fucking don't.
Yeah, how well does that work out usually?
Exactly.
I mean,
We won
it doesn't work out all that bad, as we've discussed that there have been a number of teams that have won the Penrose and the national title. So just saying.
Bill, would you
True.
rather have a natty?
But I think
or
more
the
teams have won the
Penrose?
frozen face-off. More teams that have won the
Nat-
frozen face-off have won them.
Natty or Penrose? Which would you rather have?
I mean, Western's just gonna go out and get all three this year, all right? So fucking suck it.
They're gonna get smoked first round.
Yeah, you just curse
Probably.
yourself.
And I'm calling it right now. They're gonna just get boat raced first round at the NCAA, and I'm going to let you have it. And I will pull up this clip, just saying I called it.
Oh, look at me going based on history. They've only won one first round game. Real fucking stretch there, Mike. Really going out on a limb.
No, I'm not saying just losing. I'm saying they're gonna be crushed. That's more of a limb than just be like, oh yeah, they're gonna lose.
Where are they? Hang on, let's see who they're currently expected to play. If the NCAA tournament started today, they would be playing UMass in Allentown.
Yep, absolutely smoked. I have no idea.
What is UMass right now? I mean, they're ranked, or they'd be the 12th seed. So,
Got to whip out my hockey knowledge as I was pulling together some analytics for work because I saw Amherst. I'm like, UMass, UMass Amherst. Whee!
I know them.
they
did
are
that-
currently
What did I?
18, 12, and 4 overall, 9, 9, and 4 in their conference. 7 and 6, 7, 6, and 2 at home, 9, 4, and 2 on the road, 2, 2 at neutral sites.
Yeah, so they'll smoke Western.
They lost to
One of those
Omaha in
losses.
overtime.
Yep.
Who else do we have as a common opponent? Anybody? No, we did not play BU. We played BC. They split with Northeastern.
I know what it was.
Swept Alaska.
We-
Split with Boston College.
There you go. We had somebody that they graduated from Grand Canyon University, and my boss is like, "Is that even a thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're like a small D1 school, whatever." Like pulled out random sports knowledge. It's like, how do you know that? I'm like, March Madness.
Yeah.
He's like, God damn it. Like, I know, I remember the dumbest shit.
Very
But-
limited.
I remembered it. They're not just online, they are an actual school in Arizona.
Right.
But I don't know. I think the thing that this Western team that has that they did not have in years past is the defensive play. I would say, I mean, the goalie thing, I don't know. The year they beat Northeastern, they had Brandon Bussey. Cam has very similar stats. Hampton has come out and been a phenomenal rookie goaltender. I would say their goaltending is probably a little bit better than it was that season, and they have two guys who can come in and play well. The defense, like I said, is phenomenal. Offensively, they've always been a good offensive team. I think they're deeper this year than they've been in years past. They don't have to rely on one line. But I mean, we can play the tournament game when we know what the actual matchups are and how the frozen face-off goes. So
I was gonna say, do you think I think they're gonna rotate this weekend, but do you think Cam gets the starting nod in the first round? or do they go with Hampton? What direction do you think they're going to go for goalies?
I
Because
mean,
at a certain point, you can't rotate. You just can't.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you think about it statistically, really the biggest game that Hampton won was the Friday game against North Dakota to secure a share of the Penrose. He's hasn't been bad the week before. I mean, the flu was going through the team, and he got the team to overtime against Arizona State, uh, and got a win on the Saturday game. Cam lost the Friday game. Again, like how bad was he feeling during that game or whatever. So the Arizona State series weekend is kind of an anomaly on the season because nobody was feeling good. Western had a limited roster. Both goalies were down. Nobody was at 100% that game. Cam has one loss to Michigan State in the GLI. Hampton has a loss to BC in the one game they played there. So, I mean, Hampton's struggled a little bit more. More of his games have gone to overtime or past overtime than Cam's have, but I think that's just, experience and in what Cam has played in a team pushing really hard that second game against a freshman goalie. I think they have confidence in either guy, no matter who goes. I don't think it's one's. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket, even though I mean to a point you kind of have to. But if say one does struggle, I think they'll be just as willing to go to the second string or to the other goalie as opposed to waiting till the game's kind of out of hand and hoping for a miracle by switching goalies. It feels like it's Hampton's net right now, just because he did get both starts in North Dakota. I think they're trying to really impress upon him, like, hey, you're the future goalie here. And we'll see what they do with the Miami series, because a lot of people are kind of expecting Cam to get that last game, that Saturday game against North Dakota, one to kind of give him like an extra senior game send off thing, since they played their senior weekend early and he didn't actually play senior night, and that ended up not happening. So I don't know. Maybe they just go who has the best week of practice. So
Who would you want to see if you were Berge? Who would you want to see in that? Who would you choose?
I mean, I think his process has always been, if there's at least a competition, it's who had the better week of practice. Again, I don't think there's really a lot of drop off between the two. Yes, Cam's the more experienced guy, but in some situations he's come up a little short, and not necessarily due to his play, just bad fucking puck luck. I've said it numerous times. That kid has the worst puck luck of any goalie I've ever seen. He has lost more shutouts on dipshittery than any goalie I've ever seen. I mean, Mike can attest to some of the shit that he's been a part of. He had a puck go off the back glass, hit him in the back of the shoulders, and go in the net against fucking Minnesota Duluth when Western was playing lights out hockey.
Yeah.
He's stepped on pucks and kicked him into his own net as he was like falling down because he stepped on the puck. Like, Hampton has experience in big games in other places. He won 2 games with Team USA on their gold medal run this year at the World Juniors. I think he was like the top goalie with the Fargo Force in the USHL last season. It's a tough call. It honestly is, and I don't think either one is necessarily the wrong call. It's just a matter of what defensive play they get in front of them, and that needs to step back up because the last couple weeks that has not been what we saw previously in the year. And again, the Arizona State series is kind of an anomaly, but it was not there against North Dakota either. So I could go either dude. Like, there's not a lot of drop off between either guy. I need the defensive play to be better, and I'm confident in the entire team.
Well, I still want to know, the question's still going to stand rewinding 20 minutes after you went on that soliloquy. If you had to choose, gun to your head, who is your goalie going into the playoffs?
As the guy who had the better practice. Like, I'd have to watch practice. Like, you'd have to give me numbers that, like, it's not That's how it would be. It would be the guy who had the better practice.
That's a terrible answer for my question, but it's a fair answer. Um, I personally for Western, I would probably go with Cam just because he's been around and like you said, he has terrible puck luck, but I think he's experienced, he's been around the block. Hampton, yeah, he has played in big games, but he was not that number one goalie for Team USA in the World Juniors. Um, and he's going to have more years in front of him because goalies, unless you're some absolute freak, you have more years to develop. Uh, for me with UMD, I I'm in a similar situation with Guyon and Knapp, but based off of what I've seen, I have a little more faith in Knapp, even though he has a tendency to let just super soft shots trickle behind him. There are two games in a row that his defense is diving to knock it away, and I don't know what that is, but he has a tendency to do that. Guyon, he's a little more Dominic Hasek like, where he just flails around, and you don't know if he knows he's in position. You're not quite sure if he knows he's playing hockey. Both are solid goalies, but I would lean Nab for ours. Obviously, Brent, you have your
Simon.
goalie is pretty much solidified.
I mean, it might even be a matchup thing too, though. Like, who matches the offense that they have to play better? That could be because they are a little bit different in their goal style. I think Hampton will kind of come out and challenge more. Maybe that's just because he's a little bit younger. He moves out in front of the net a little more frequently or a little quicker. Um, Cam, I think he honestly controls rebounds a little bit better. So if you have a team that's high chance from out far, maybe you play Hampton. If it's a team that crashes the net and looks for dirty goals, maybe you play Cam because he controls rebounds a little bit better. So it might even be just a matchup thing. But there's a comfort in having confidence in both goalies to know that you're not making the wrong play, which I think is nice to have.
Yeah, and for us, I'd say Simon's obviously like A1, but having Kevin back there as well, like obviously Saturday he stepped in and I mean just went to work. And so I mean, as many teams have, the past few seasons figured it out, like goaltending is what's gonna is like where you need to start and then build out. And we've talked about that before when I've been on, like having two, maybe three if you're lucky, guys who you can really trust to go out there any night is really huge. And obviously, Simon probably gives you a better chance at winning night in and night out. But Kevin, I mean, I heard nothing but good things about him in practice, and he just comes and does his work. And if his name is called, he's out there and doing his best.
I think uh, over the last few years, it's kind of definitely been tough having just a number one goalie and a number two and not knowing what you have in your number two. And the pattern I've seen has been having that number two kind of become a 1B because you want to have your number one goalie, but you don't want to have a complete unknown in your backup, whoever that is. But then you run into like a Cam in Hampton or a guy on a nap situation where you don't know who your number one is in a certain situation. I think there's a balance that you have to have in there. It's great that you have that competition, but you kind of want to know, like with Simon, he's going to be the number one guy, but if he goes down, if he gets sick, he, you know, blows a hammy, something like that, you're confident in your backup. And that's the interesting balance that you have to play as a coach with how much do you play your backup?
Well, and in this way, I mean, whoever plays Western, they have to account for both goalies. You're not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily sure who's going to go. So if you're trying to get a feel for who's in net, you have to study both goalies equally. I would say that probably going forward though, like I said, it does feel like it's Hampton's net, and it's similar to what we saw with was it Castor and Bassey at St. Cloud.
Mm.
Yep.
They split for most of the time. Then they went to Castor for the end of the season. Last
Yeah.
year, Bassey was the dominant primary goalie. They switched to Posh at the end of the year, I think it was,
Yep.
and he was their goalie into the playoffs. Um,
Yeah, because Bassey had some sort of illness or
yeah,
whatever. He was just out for whatever reason.
and then the difference between the Knapp and Guyon situation versus the Western or the Cam Rowe Hampton situation is Rowe's done at the end of the year. Like, this is
Yep.
his last year.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
competition next year. You're just trying to get the Hampton as much experience in the college ranks in the first season as you can. So maybe, like I said, if it's a matchup thing, cool. If it's just we're trying to pump Hampton with experience and we trust him enough to be the guy going forward and we get the right defensive play, that's why I say you either go with the who has the best week at practice, or if you're looking at the other team for a matchup thing. But I'm confident in either goalie going forward. Like, there's not a clear number one here
I think that
in a
would be
positive way.
I think that would be a fun question to ask, like JJ, if we could get him back on, or just any coach in general. Uh, what goes into that? Because yeah, it's worked well throughout the year, but you're playing series, you're playing 2 game series against these teams. Now all of a sudden you're stuck in these winner go home situations. What do you do? And I think the answer is going to be like you were saying, who's the best in practice? What's the hot hand? Yeah, all that. We're going to get that generic answer, but it's still a tough question to ask. And how do you determine it? Because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It really doesn't matter who you choose.
Yeah,
If you win, you made the right choice. If you lose, you made the wrong choice. It doesn't matter who you chose, even though you at Western, you have the best tandem in college hockey.
yeah,
You can't go wrong, in my opinion. You can't go wrong with either one, but if you lose, you went wrong.
right.
And that's a tough choice.
Yeah, and that's why I say I think it's honestly more on the defensive play, the ability to get out of the zone, not get caught, like actually get pucks clear in situations where they need to be cleared, block shots when they need to be blocked. You can't dick around in the neutral zone and let teams back in when you're trying to make change. You can't get caught in short changes or slow changes. Like, everything's got to be the best going forward. And if it is, Western's a very dangerous team when they play their A game, and it doesn't really matter who's in net because both guys are stopping pucks and the offense is scoring goals when they're at their best. And that's what they have to be for the next 10 games.
Well, yeah, 10. Because you have this series and then the 8. Because we've always said, well, it's not true this year, but Miami only has to win 8 in a row.
I think there is technically like some like line of what you have to win to be eligible to be in the national tournament. But all things considered, if you could do it and it's just winning the conference tournament is legitimately an auto bid, they would just have to win 8 games.
Yeah, but not this year.
Yeah. And to win a few more than 8 this year, boys.
Not quite.
Would have been good to start with 1 earlier in the season.
Like at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I hope, man. I freaking hope they get better.
They need to.
I think any logical hockey fan would hope that they get better. You hope that they suck when they play your team. But other than that, it just, like I said earlier, it makes it fun. It makes it way more fun when every single matchup is competitive, and it brings out the best play in the players because they know they're in a competition instead of just kind of like, point night, eh,
Yep.
screw it, we're gonna win. And so if the players are engaged, make more money, the conference is better, and the conference wins more national championships as long as it's not Denver because they can go screw themselves.
I got enough
And
for a
North
few
Dakota.
teams.
Denver and North Dakota, they can go fuck off wherever.
Into the forever.
Into the shadow realm.
I mean, that's really all I've got. We're just over an hour. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to touch on. If you want to dive into more of the this weekend's games or not.
The only thing that I have, because Wes screwed this one up, but the spot the puck, I believe, from this week with the St. Cloud goalie losing his bucket. I have so many questions how they got into that situation.
You know, if you're a member of NCHC TV, you can go back and watch archived games, and you can get right to that point.
I am a member. My
and
bank account knows, but
just saying, if
that picture,
if you want to, you can go back and look for that spot in the game, and it might be a hint as to where the spot the puck is, and you can figure out what led to that situation of, you know, Posh being without a helmet. Maybe he took a puck off the mask and it rebounded out to where the puck is. Maybe someone skated in the crease and bumped him a little. I mean,
there was a lot more going on in that picture.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, Michael. But you can go back and watch the video, yeah.
What if I'm lazy?
Well, then I guess you'll never know the answer. Because
then I probably will never know the answer.
And I'm not an owl, so. And yes, I just let you know how old I am. But not really, because that's an old ass commercial. So
you're like a year older than I am, so I know that. I
wasn't necessarily talking to you. Maybe the younger generation who stumbled upon this fantastic show that we do every week.
Lord help them if they lasted this long watching us talk.
Maybe they're jumping around. But no, I don't have anything else. You guys have anything else?
Nope.
Congrats, Wes. Congrats.
Yeah, emotional weekend in more than one way.
If it had to be anyone, I'm glad it was you. I'm not. I don't know.
I'm glad we got to celebrate. I'm glad we got to celebrate that sumbitch
this season.
On North
this
Dakota.
Season with who's up in the top, I guess. Of the teams that were competing after
the team
Omaha,
of the teams that actually had a chance. If it wasn't my team, I'm glad it was yours.
After Omaha just decided, you know, like we were talking earlier, you were talking earlier, like getting the bye week and then having to play, and then, you know, we got the bye and then had to go to Lawson, and that was just a bit of a tall task. And that kind of solidified our.
That would be a tough ask to go from bye week to playing at Lawson.
Yeah.
But I think you might be one of the very few Omaha fans that are okay with Western having the Penrose in any amount of success right now.
I was gonna say. So
I appreciate you stepping out and joining us.
Thank you for not blocking us and being super petty about any disagreements on opinions, because that was
I don't know, maybe just adds to the rivalry that Western and Omaha have become. We're travel buddies again next year, so
we were unfortunately moving, so I was very limited. We had the game on, but I wasn't really watching, and I was definitely not on social media, so I just kind of missed all that.
So,
well, you're not Mav Puck, so we like you. Thank you for being an adult.
That's an off-air conversation that can be had. Playing the political correctness role here, you know.
I'm not. obviously.
I said what I said last week. Like I'm over the situation. I'm done with it. It's buried in my mind. I don't need to I'm not gonna harp on it. Other than saying that like legit, there might be some repercussions for Brent showing up here for whatever reason because some people can't act like adults. But it is what it is. We got the Penrose. It's nice. It's they wouldn't let me touch it, so I had to take a belt to the next game. I got to look at it. I got my picture with it. Got my arm around the table. I'm like, that's right there. So, good times.
I'm glad you didn't touch it because you didn't win it.
That's right. I need to be friends with people who can like lift it and just pour things into my mouth from it.
Yeah.
Because that's how family members get to drink from the cup. You can drink from the cup if you didn't win it. You just can't hold it or touch it. So they just need to bring it to Waldo's and make sure they have their IDs and are of age. We can have fun. Now let's get out of here. There's that YouTube stuff that's at the bottom of the screen. It always is. Figure it out. We're on Twitter at a few different places. We've been here long enough. I think most people know. We tweet about this show and Omaha and Western and UMD hockey. So if you follow any of those chances you've seen us tweet about it. So,
yes.
Other than that, pucks on net, good things happen like goal horns and fight songs, which I forgot to say last week. So I definitely made sure I got it in this week. Till the next episode. Oh, next episode. So we had so much playoff talk because next episode we will probably not be talking about the weekend that will be. We have Western Michigan Athletic Director Dan Bartholomew is joining the show for the second time. So there will be more talk about the admin side of college hockey and athletics in general, which could make for interesting conversation considering the landscape that we are entering with CHL players, NIL deals, institutions joining in or opting out.
So. And hopefully he has not fired anybody next week like the first time.
I'm going to say with the state of Western athletics in general, it is highly unlikely.
You never know.
But highly unlikely. And I think we had him closer to the end of football season last time. So, but yeah, so next Tuesday, 9:00, WMU Athletic Director Dan Bartholomew will be on the show. So there might be a little bit of talk, at least about the Western Miami series, if he wants to dive into that. But I think it'll be more, like I said, the admin side of things. Ow, that hurt. Oh, I think my cat jumped on my sternum while I was sleeping last night and bruised it. Oh shit, if he did. But yep, that'll do her. Bucks on net, good things happen like go horns and fight songs. Until the next one, we are out of here.